Hello, nice to meet you all on the meetup of ManageIQ as CloudForms. I want to give a small presentation how our CloudForms setup is in production at a customer. And after that I will present some ideas we have to implement a CI environment for CloudForms. My name is Mike Hulsman. I work as Proxy in Proxy Managed Service team. We do managed service for several clients. It can be small clients like an ISP, some government, some large warehouses that we do managed service for, and some company in aerospace. This is the general architecture that Red Hat is presenting. It's being based on regions. Region is an entity with a database in it, where all the workers connect to the database and put their data in. Databases can be replicated to a master database, so you can have one overview of your complete environment, and that environment can be in several clients, several countries, several continents. And you can also separate it in a zone. And a zone is for segregated network traffic, and that normally connect to only one provider. That was the difficulty in our situation, because we started with a very small installation of VMware. The VMware was consisting of 6 hosts. They had shared SAN storage. The VMs were running that are Windows VM and CentOS, and there is CloudForms on top of it to automate stuff and to get reports. You see it's not very small. It can fit in one region, including in one zone. But the difficulty is the client is separated over 3 continents. They had one site in Europe, one site in the States, and one site in Asia. You cannot fit this in one region. Like Red Hat is saying, you must separate traffic by using regions. But in our case, the environment is so small that we only have one provider. And in this case, it's VMware. So if you create multiple regions, then every region has to connect to the same vCenter server. And then you get duplicate records. When we started this setup, CloudForms was at version 3.1 out of my head. And yeah, the problem was that I installed workers in the States, in Europe and in Asia. And it could happen that the worker in the Netherlands was doing smart state analysis on the worker in Asia. So that was not a situation that was designed. And in CloudForms there is a possibility to do smart proxy affinity. If you have multiple smart proxies, you can define the hosts and the data stores which the smart proxy is connecting to. I was mentioning that we first started with version 3.1, and in 3.1 the smart proxy affinity didn't work. Later on we upgraded to 3.2, and then smart proxy affinity was working as designed. The current state is that we are running on CloudForms version 4.0, and there it's working like designed. The CloudForms environment is, in Europe we have the VMDB running, including the automation engine. The vCenter server is located in Europe, and in the US and in Asia we have two separate workers, and they mostly do smart state analysis of the VMs on that site and is getting statistics from the host. This is normally set up at customers. In this case it's vCenter, but it could also be a ref environment. We always use FreeIPA or Red Hat IDM as our source of authorization and the user IDs, passwords, roles, groups, etc. are in IPA. Multi-master environment. We have a standard monitoring product that's called CheckMK, and that's being set up, distributed for all our customers. And beside that, in most cases, we use BIOS as a backup solution. What currently is running at that customers is some control policies to do some tagging of the VMs. The tags are being automatically added based on location of the VMs. We implemented that if a specific VM is in the VMware folder, we know the location of that folder, and then it's being tagged with the customer's department and country locations. We have some smart state analysis policies. If a host is or a VM is being rebooted, or a new host or VM is being seen in CloudForms, it's automatically doing the smart state analysis. And I also created a policy when VM is created or cloned, then the smart state analysis will also run on that VM. And we have some policies to assign specific analysis profiles to specific machines. Other than that, we are using the reporting function of CloudForms. It's very basic at the moment because we didn't agree with the customers on which reports they want and which reports we can deliver. So mostly the weekly CPU usage is being delivered. For ourselves, we check for SSH client versions, the VMware compatibility mode of new VMs, and also the snapshots counting in VMware. And in my point of view, the snapshot count in VMware is a lot easier to do in CloudForms than with some scripting against your vCenter server. On the roadmap is that we create a central VMDB. That VMDB will reside on premise of Proxy, and all our customers and future customers will connect to that VMDB so we can gather statistics from all the machines we manage. The automation module isn't implemented at the moment, and that is just because of lack of time and the absence of a CI environment where we can do code development and testing against machines. Integration, we have thought of integrate into Topdesk. Topdesk is our tooling for support tickets, and we can add a button in CloudForms that the customer can create a ticket of that specific VM or host if they want. And then all information what is gathered on that host or VM is automatically being added to the ticket. And the provisioning through the self-service portal isn't set up yet, but I think that will help the client to deploy their machines faster than they do now. So in short, this is what we have implemented. It's running production. It's not being implemented to every corner in CloudForms itself, but the product is hard to learn, and yeah, we need to do that in the future. Are there any questions?
What are the advantages of having CloudForms in this environment?
If the environment is growing, you are using CloudForms a lot more to automatically deploy machines, check the software state of the machines, etc. etc. In this setup with only 6 hypervisors, it's more of overkill at the moment, but this setup was based on growth. And at the moment we have 2 machines connected to a sun, and yeah, that's also being designed with the future in mind. Any other questions?